Many thanks for clicking on to attheraces.com and our web preview of the 2013 Cheltenham Festival. Moving on now to the feature on day 2, the Queen Mother Champion Chase. Alongside me is Mick Fitzgerald, the winner of no less than 14 races at the festival, including this one. Mick, somewhat now 14 years ago?
I know I don't look that old, Martin, but yeah, it is quite a while ago. Great day for me, because any day that you win one of the big ones at Cheltenham is a great day, and you know, he was a very smart horse caller.
And of course, Mick, former stable jockey to Nicky Henderson, and he owns all the aces in this year's champion chase. He's got Sprinter Sacre, the 4-on market leader. Then we've then got Size in Europe, the winner of this race a couple of years ago, at 7-1, 14-1 for Q Card, Mal de Bièvre at 16-1, Sanctuary at 20 alongside Wishful Thinking and Finion's Rainbow, 33 for Summersby, and Real Dub at 40-1. So Sprinter Sacre, the short-priced market leader for the champion chase, and he of course is trained by Nicky Henderson.
He just loves it, but I mean that's his way of life. It's all flashy and show, and he knows he's good looking, he knows he's good, and it is all watch me. And the only person that doesn't enjoy, I mean at home it's great, but watching him on the racecourse I find terrifying.
It's a hard question to ask you. You've had so many great horses, but is he up there with the best that you've ever had?
He'd have to be right up there, yeah. I'm never going to say he's the best. I don't know who was, but he is something to watch. And as I say, and from Barry's point of view, he says it is the most spectacular thing you will ever sit on. But you know, he enjoys it, and I don't.
Well, I think most of us do enjoy watching him. He's a fantastic animal. 7 from 7 over fences so far. He won the Arkle last year, and I suppose, Mick, the banker for many people at this year's meeting.
Yeah, he is. He's skinny odds, though. That's the big thing. And you know, I just think that he looks really assured. And the number one thing for me is when you speak to Barry about him, he says, look, this horse has got no holes in him. He's very straightforward. You can drop him in. You can ride him handy. He's not a horse that he will come to life as soon as you give him a squeeze. And that's, for me, that's the big thing. When you get to Cheltenham, there's so much razzmatazz. There'll be a lot of cameras around him. There'll be a lot of attention on him. But the horse seems to revel in the attention. He really does like it. And you can see he almost puts on his best face for the cameras. And, you know, as Nicky said, when you see this horse up close and you see him in full flow, he is a sight to behold. And I just think he hasn't got any holes in him, really.
I mean, so we know he can go from behind, he can go from the front, he can handle all sorts of different ground, and that is maybe just a key there. If you're trying to look for one negative of the horse, there isn't one. No,
there isn't. You know, and Barry will tell you as well, when he rode Moscow, he said Moscow always threw in the odd dodgy jump, and it was just a case of hoping you were still on him when you got to the other side. But he said with this horse you don't have that worry. And as a jockey you go out to ride these races and you go through every possible scenario in your head before you go out. You think, well, what happens if this doesn't make it? What happens if this is jumping right, this is jumping left? Well, on Sprinter Sacre he doesn't have that worry. He can just think, right, well, all I've got to do is keep him calm in the preliminaries and then just let him roll.
And he was quite a buzzy horse last year. Do you think he's calmed down any more this year and he's a little bit more relaxed in the way he goes about things?
I don't think there's any doubt about it. When he ran, as we saw him winning at Cheltenham there, when he ran that day, he was as assured as I've seen him. And I do think this horse is really starting to grow into himself. And because of that, it makes him an even bigger certainty, I think.
It's around a 4-on chance at the top of the market. Many of the opposition running a little bit scared, though, but Nicky Henderson could have another bullet to fire in the race in last year's winner, Finion's Rainbow.
Yeah, he's the forgotten horse of the race. He was, up till recently, he was the second highest rated chaser in the country behind Sprinter Sacre. His form this year leaves a lot to be desired, and I think, you know, it'll be a watch and brief as to whether he actually makes the lineup on this occasion. And I think he could be as well looking for something a little bit further down the line. For something to chase this other horse home.
Yeah, he's been beaten on his 2 starts this season. First off at Ascot in the Amlin Chase early on, then again last time out in the Ascot Chase. The horse who went on to win that race was Q Card. I know we're not sure, Mick, whether he's going to go 2 miles or 2 miles 5, but over this longer trip he was in winning form last time out.
Yeah, and what you've got to look at as well is the horse's overall record at Cheltenham is pretty good, really. You know, he ran okay in the hurdle race, he won the bumper. He finished second to Sprinter Sacre when he had the likes of Minora 22 lengths behind him and Alfarov. That shows you what a good run it was by this horse and take out Sprinter Sacre, this horse would have been a very worthy winner of the Arkle. So he's a player if they decide to go in this race, and something's going to have to chase the other horse home.
And I think he was probably the only horse who's managed to give, not a race to Sprinter Sacre, but he's probably got as close to any horse has done over fences.
Yeah, but like I said, the proof of the pudding is in the eating, and at the festival last year he got within 7 lengths of him, and that's probably as close as anybody's got to him. So, I think if they decide to go this route, this fella will shake him up.
Well, that's Q Card. Connection still to decide where he's to go, and similar sentiments apply to this horse. This is Sizing Europe. Of course, Mick, the winner a couple of years ago, and a really good second again last year.
Yeah, and he's just, when I was going through this horse's form, it makes you go, wow. Because this horse, he's unbeaten since he got beat in the Champion Chase last year, winning some good races at some good tracks and handing out some real drubbings to some decent horses as well. I just think that this fella, he's a real attacking 2-miler. And when you get those horses in that role, they revel in it. And for me, I think this is what this lad does best. And I'll be surprised if they go Ryanair with this fella. I think they might take a punt on him and take a chance and go for the Champion Chase again. And
would it be a worthy rival for Sprinter Sacre?
No doubt about it. And if this horse runs, he gives the race a real quality look to it as well, and it'll be run at a decent pace. So for me, I think I hope this lad runs in this.
And I think it'd be a real benchmark as well for the form overall if he was in there finishing a clear second to Sprinter Sacre.
I think there's no doubt about it. And, Henry de Brahma deserves plenty of credit for keeping this horse on the road and keeping him as sound as he's been for the last few years. I think it's a true reflection of his ability as a trainer.
And I guess we've got one unknown quantity in the field. Tom George talking about supplementing his Newbury winner in there as well. He went off very fast last time out over the longer trip and is coming back to 2 miles.
Yeah, Mal de Biev, he caught a lot of people's eye because he was flamboyant style of racing. He was very long at several of the obstacles, and Paddy Brennan said he just couldn't keep a lid on him. He said he jumped very well and very quick. But he's a great big huge tank of a horse. He's got a lot of presence about him. He's not dissimilar to Sprinter Sacre in that sense. But I just think it's very easy to lead a field of 3-milers and look that impressive because they're just lobbing along behind you. And he got very tired towards the end. You don't know how much that will have taken out of him. And for me, he'll be an interesting runner, but I'll be surprised if he shakes up Sprinter Sacre.
And how about Sanctuary for Paul Nicholls, a horse who last year progressed through the novice ranks, has been put in his place this year by Sprinter Sacre, but he could be one if they go off hard in front to come through and pick up the pieces and take a minor place.
The biggest problem this horse has got is there's a little collecting area where they check the saddles and girths of these horses before they come out onto the track. I could just see Sanctuary not bothering to come out. He's been troublesome in the past at the start, and that is a very bad start down there for a horse who's tricky.
So Sprinter Sacre 1-4, Sizing Europe at 7-1, Q Card at 14s, 16-1 bar those. Final words, Mick, with you, the winner of this year's Champion Chase.
I think it's got to be Sprinter Sacre. I think he's the one that everybody will be there to see on the Wednesday, and I hope he doesn't disappoint.